we are going to start assembling this Red Cloud engine. Seth Neefus is who I've been communicating with from Red Cloud. They are building this for Born Free this year. We just got done doing the unit polished engine. We are now going to do a pre-unit polished engine. I talked about it at the end of the other video, but this one was done at Elite Polishing in Lincoln, Nebraska, so not that far from me. He does amazing work. He actually is the one that did Tom Heavey's engine, and so you know, I already knew what to expect. He kills it every time. Everything he did looks good. I got the head up by the head station, so it's along with everything else. We'll talk about these later. I got Paul's 2-piece, 3-piece spring-loaded pushrod tubes, award cycles. We will discuss that more later, but everything is laid out here. It looks to be a bit of a mess, but I promise it is as organized as, you know, I need it to be. I've got the bearings in both of the cases here. I've pretty well cleaned all the threads and checked all the surfaces. I need to add just the base studs in those. Cylinders are ready. I'll clean those one more time, and then we'll do the tappet blocks. And then I just got done with the crank. I ground it a while back. This is actually one of my cranks. I'm selling them. I got it ground to 10, and I balanced it to 70% for them. So as you can see here, I've got some dimples, and so everything's good to go. The rods have ARP rod bolts, new wrist pin bushings in the end there, so that's ready to go in here. I just want to get the cams installed. They sent me some drilled gears there, so I'm going to install the cams, and then we will drop the crank in. This is not going to be another really detailed assembly video. The one last week did pretty well. It was a quick assembly. It really just kind of got the point across as to how cool this was, and that was really all I wanted out of it. This is not a how-to. I've got other videos for that. This is just entertainment. I'm gonna try and keep it kind of short and sweet because that one did well last week in that vein. So we will have some fun here and just kind of drool over how cool it looks. Some of the cool things: stainless steel hardware, all of it's been polished. They polished it all up and then sent it to me. They put in all the work. Actually, we're not using those. We're just gonna use the standard. But all this looks good. They got some cool Jomo caps, Webco, base, sump plate. We're using the Kibble White bronze tappet blocks. We got a Morgo pump to put in it. So all good stuff, all really good stuff. Stainless. I mean, everything is just very, very pretty. So yeah, let's start putting it together.
I'm excited to share a special creation from Golden Farms with you. During a recent hike up my favorite mountain on the Central Coast, I discovered a grove of California bay trees with the most magical fragrance. So I gathered some leaves and brought them back in a wash basin, cleans the water better than a wastewater treatment plant with no nasty chemicals. The system is economical, sanitary, and easy to set up. I put a link to all the info in the description below.
Okay, well, that didn't quite go smoothly. I was hoping to demonstrate dropping this crank in. I have this block. I've used it before in videos. I use this because I warm it up, and then I'll just set it on the inner race. It puts just enough heat into the inner race to get it big enough to allow this crank to drop on. You don't always have to do that. You know, that first attempt, I was hoping it would just kind of slip right in, but it is a little bit tighter. So I did have to warm it up a little bit. It's the safest way in my opinion because it's just a thermal transfer of heat. You're not, you know, really putting anything in harm at risk. You know, it can only allow so much into the bearing. It's really not going to cause problems. So that's an easy way to do that. But now it is in. Everything works beautifully. So I'm going to put jointing compound on this. I do have a hollow dowel. No, I do have that one. No, I think we're good. I'm gonna put some joining compound on here, and then I'll balance our breather disc and spring, and then everything should just kind of go together nicely. So I'm going to I'm gonna go ahead and get that all set up, and then I'll show you what I get done next. Okay, before we get the stand back on it, let's go ahead and get our sump assembly. Kind of need the sump. Oh, here it is. Okay. Dan was so kind as to include this in some of the stuff that they had gotten. And it's a couple of his aluminum core foam-backed gaskets. These do not need sealant on them, so once they are on, you're not going to have all this nasty stuff goobering out. The other really cool thing is, if any of you have dealt with sump gaskets before, they are never cut well, but if you look here, it is cut perfectly. That is one of the biggest things about Dan's gaskets, is the mapping. He took a lot of time to make sure that they were going to be cut out perfectly. And so no goo smeared out and make it a big mess, and no overhang. They mount flush and they're reusable. So when they pull this off to do an oil change, the gasket's not only will it be sealed, but it also won't rip and be all destroyed, and you can put it back on and reuse it. I did put some temporary studs in this to squeeze it together. They have all their stainless hardware at home. I may have to, once all the plates and mounting and everything is all squeezing it together, this will probably be much easier for them to get it on and off, but sometimes it's just off enough that nothing too crazy, just needs tapped on. They do have these locking washers, so I'm going to be pretty cautious with those because they are pretty aggressive. I don't want to chew anything up. It's kind of making it a little hard for me to start them. Alright guys, I'm actually gonna set these locking washers to the side. I don't think they're really necessary. I think I'm just gonna run, I've got stainless, aircraft stainless washers that fit on there really nicely. I'm just gonna run those. If they want to swap them back, you know, I'll send them back with it, obviously, but they're a little too aggressive, I think. I'd rather run these nice, smooth ones. So, anyway, Dan's gaskets are awesome. Like I said, reusable is one of the biggest kind of attractive parts to me, and then the fact that it's just, I mean, look at that lineup. I'll get in closer, but there's just no overhang. It's not blue or purple or anything. It's just all you see is that aluminum edge. There's a fine black line from the foam, but you can't even hardly see. You'd have to know it was there. We got to get this little shot here before we put on the stand, and we won't ever see it again. But Webco sump plate with Dan's reusable gaskets. The fitment is just outstanding. I mean, that looks so good. No overhang, no oozing. Perfect. It's perfect. I mean, if you really wanted to get after it, you could even polish the edge of that thing because it's that aluminum core, so that thing could even be shiny if you wanted. But okay, we got our base studs in. Halves are together. I don't want to bash these things around, but I mean, this thing is, I can turn it just with my finger. That's how beautiful this alignment. These bearings are great. Those are the Hippolytes. Again, these came from Dan also. Super good stuff. So hooking us up with all the right things. So also got the stainless mag studs in place. But before we put the cylinders on, we need to get the tappet blocks in. And I think because these are aluminum, these are C630 bronze, they're hard. And so I don't want to shave any material out of here. So I'll probably warm these up. And then hopefully these will just want to go in for me, but that might be a bit of a trick, so I'm not going to distract myself with a camera because this is some serious business. So you won't see that. The next thing you'll see is them in. I'm gonna clearance them to match the followers Okay, so we got all of our gears in, it's all timed up. Pump is installed. I cleaned it out, filled it with assembly lube, torqued the nuts to 5 foot-pounds, so we're pretty well sealed up here. I do not have their cover. They're running one of Paul's Ward Cycles covers. It's obviously polished. This is my raw one that I just have. I used to have it all mocked up on here just to get like a look at it. It's gonna look so cool, just like Tom. Tom did the same thing, polished fin cover from Award. But yeah, so that's gonna be the look on the outside. I do not have it, so I will not be fitting it. The cylinders are only mocked up because I remembered from when I did Tom's, these base nuts, the stainless ones, they're a little large for the way the well-worthies are manufactured, and so I got lucky and I only need to clearance just this one corner here. All the other ones fit quite nicely, and so I will have no problem torquing all those, but this one is actually, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, but it is impeding there. So I'll just clearance the backside just a little bit. You won't be able to see it when it's done, so it's not too big of a deal. I did get the blocks in, as you can see. I will be clearancing those next to accept the followers because they are undersized. If you buy the Kibble White blocks, you do have to size them, but just how ridiculous is that? I love it. How silly. We will be polishing all of the components for the pushrod tubes, so those will be all shiny and those will be in there looking pretty silly and crazy and awesome. So I will be getting these done, and then the base gasket's already on there. As you can already tell, you can't see it, which is another awesome bonus. There's just a little bit of poke there, but it's just, oh man, they're so sexy. I think he's calling them luxury gaskets, and that is a perfect name for them. All right, well, here's another big jump. I got the cylinders on. Tappet blocks installed like we talked about, and they're clearanced. Let's pull this O-ring off. I'm gonna show you. Nice and... trying to grab it so you can see. Either way, nice, good fit, good clearances. Cylinders, oh my god. Cylinders are looking great. Wiped them down, installed the pistons and everything there. So I gotta get the head gasket on and then put the cylinder head in place, and then I have to do some measuring in order to calculate the tube section, the long section of Award Cycles pushrod tubes. And so we talked on the phone the other day about what all needs to be done as far as the overall height in order to create a good compression on the spring here. And so I got to do some math there. All right, well, I don't want to speak too much on this without it being Paul saying all the facts, because that's who knows everything. This design is for a internal oiling, what you'd say, because the oil is drained from the rocker box area down through the pushrod tube itself. Now, external oiler is like an earlier pre-unit where there is banjo fittings here and here, and then you have those external oil lines that Y down, and that's how the oil is drained effectively. The difference being that there's the rocker box with the receiving end of the pushrod tube built into it, so this is like a split here. Some of you are probably familiar with that. But I'm assuming, again, you know what assuming does, these well-worthy cylinders are designed based off of a external oiling system, not an internal oiling system. This is a later per unit head being a internal oiling, oil drain, however you want to say it, that causing there to be some clearance issues. So this is the lower. It's got a seal there in the bottom, and there's a liner in here that the sliding piece lives inside of. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. And so this is a nice slide fit, and that's where that spring lives. So that's where your spring pressure comes, and it's pushing up on the upper tube section to create that spring-loaded seal, so you're not distorting heads or having leaks or anything like that. The issue we're having is the way these were designed is this is for like a unit style cylinder, let's just jump that far ahead. And so the clearances and everything, they fit great when you are working with a lot of room, you know, as far as like a later unit. These are machined much deeper. That is a weird combination we're having here. I'm gonna reach out and talk to Paul. We're on such different time zone situation, so I need to talk to him, see what he wants to do, talk to Seth, see what he wants to do. But if you look, this bottom fits beautifully. You know, that seal is such a tight fit, it's amazing. I love that. So that goes in great. The issue lies when you try and install the sliding or the plunger section. There's just not enough room for it to live in there. And so unfortunately this style is not going to work. I'm going to find out. Unfortunately I just don't have time, you know, to wait to get these parts. So we'll see if Seth wants to wait, then we'll wait. But you know, this timeline is starting to get really tight. I was actually hoping to have this engine back to them last month. So I'm gonna find out. I don't want to speak ill of anything. This is great. I like the way it's made. It's very nice. Great idea. Great. You know, everything about it is good. It's just not the right one for this combination of parts. You know, probably something we could have foreseen, but I don't have every aftermarket cylinder memorized as far as what and how. So I'm going to walk away, go work on something else for a little bit, and then we will figure out what the plan is here. All right, guys, that's it. I'm done. So again, it's a little unfortunate that we weren't able to run Paul's pushrod tubes, but you know, unique circumstances. So again, nothing against them. But Seth is super excited to get this back. They are quite a ways on the rest of the build out. They've shown me some of the stuff they've been doing, and let me tell you, it looks really, really good. I'm very, very, very excited to see all this come together. Yeah, it's a very neat thing, you know, doing multiple polished engines in a row. It's kind of been a unique experience. I've been having a lot of fun, but I can tell you, I could use a break. Going back to some regular stuff will definitely make me happy. But I'm really, really thankful I got to work with these guys. They're really cool, and I can't wait to see how it looks on the grass this summer at Born Free. So again, this was just a fun opportunity to get to see how interesting and unique, you know, a fully polished engine. The cool things about this is the details they went to with getting the stainless hardware. You know, stainless, you know, everywhere. It's just, it's gorgeous. And then obviously all of the polished aluminum. The well-worthy cylinders really kind of set this off. The way it's just a continuous shine all the way up through, non-stop. A black set of cylinders would look cool too, obviously, but there's just something about that constant. It just looks, it doesn't look real. I think that's my favorite part. They gave me those really nice drilled, old school racing style. You know, everybody thought that they were hot rodders back in the day, and light is fast, so it just kind of reminds you, looks cool and makes you think of race parts, and that's kind of fun. But I am excited to see it go. I'm a little bit sad that I don't have so much radical stuff sitting around, but you know, it's gonna go into a really, really cool bike.